Cardinal Parolin, Preventive Wars Risk Setting the World Ablaze. Cardinal Secretary of State Pietro Parolin speaks to Vatican News about events in the Middle East, warning of a dangerous rise of multipolarism marked by the primacy of power. This erosion of international law is truly worrying. Justice has given way to force, the force of law has been replaced by the law of force. Cardinal Pietro Parolin, Vatican Secretary of State, spoke on Wednesday to Vatican News about the ongoing war in the Middle East. In the following interview, he expressed concern that a multipolarism marked by the primacy of power and self-referentiality is dangerously taking hold. Your Eminence, how are you experiencing these dramatic hours? With great sorrow, because the peoples of the Middle East, including the already fragile Christian communities, have once again been plunged into the horror of war, which brutally shatters human lives, brings destruction, and drags entire nations into spirals of violence with uncertain outcomes. On Sunday at the Angelus, the Pope spoke of a tragedy of enormous proportions and the risk of an irreparable abyss. Those are more than eloquent words to describe the moment we are going through. What do you think of the US and Israeli attack on Iran? I believe that peace and security must be cultivated and pursued through the possibilities offered by diplomacy, especially diplomacy exercised within multilateral bodies, where states have the possibility of resolving conflicts in a bloodless and more just way. After the Second World War, which caused about 60 million deaths, the Founding Fathers, by creating the United Nations, wanted to spare their children the horrors they themselves had experienced. For this reason, in the UN Charter they sought to provide clear guidance on the management of conflicts. Today, those efforts seem to have been nullified. Not only that, but as the Pope reminded the diplomatic corps at the beginning of the year, a diplomacy that promotes dialogue and seeks consensus among all is being replaced by a diplomacy of force, of individuals or groups of allies, and people think that peace can be pursued by means of arms. When speaking of the causes of a war, it is complex to determine who is right and who is wrong. What is certain, however, is that war will always produce victims and destruction, as well as devastating effects on civilians. For this reason, the Holy See prefers to recall the need to use all the instruments offered by diplomacy in order to resolve disputes among states. History has already taught us that only politics, through the hard work of negotiation and attention to balancing interests, can increase trust among peoples, promote development, and preserve peace.